the legal arguments, maybe we'll spend 1 minute more just talking about this. It's a very, very complicated issue. Folks who are watching this probably know that in a 1986 case called McCluskey versus Kemp, the Supreme Court really confronted this issue head on. There was even stronger evidence of race discrimination offered by a professor from the University of Iowa named David Baldus. And the court, my reading of it, is more or less accepted for the sake of argument Baldus's findings and said, even though, and this is a 5-4 decision, the death penalty is still not unconstitutional because of the discriminatory application. And Michael knows I've researched, we became friends in part through a history that I'm writing of the death penalty. And the behind-the-scenes story of this on the Supreme Court is very, very interesting. Lewis Powell ended up writing the majority opinion in McCluskey versus Kemp. And at the end of his life, he rejected the death penalty. And he's really torn in McCluskey. And you can see that on the court, the race evidence is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's very influential. It gets the justices to see that it's a problem. And on the other hand, it's what Michael said, that they don't see a way to say, we're going to condemn this without condemning the jury process and to some extent the entire American criminal justice system. And I guess I'm just wondering to what extent the lawyers at LDF saw it as a double-edged sword.
No, I think we saw this as enormously powerful proof of discrimination. And remember that this kind of proof had won the day in many, many situations in discrimination in employment, hospitals, healthcare, education during this period. And I think we thought the same thing might happen when it came to criminal justice. We were wrong.
Well, you were wrong, but one thing that's evident to me, there's so many vagaries of history. And you were wrong, but you were a whisker away from being right.
Well,
and,
well, the judge leaves us with the question of, well, was it a good thing that that this evidence led to the 1972 decision, which was overturned in a sense in 1976. In other words, he leaves us with the question of whether things were better because of the events he described. Now, he thinks they are. Other people would say, well, maybe the death penalty would have withered away by itself without this legal effort. And it's interesting because those were the arguments used against Brown v. Board of Education also.
Right.
So,
well, I don't know, maybe you'd agree with this. My answer to that question would be it's very complicated to answer, and probably we'd need a few hours to even begin to answer it. But it's, you know, if for nothing else other than inviting people to ask that question and have that debate, the book is a great read. Michael's forward to the book is a particularly great read. He's a wonderful writer. His book, his original memoir, Cruel and Unusual, about his experiences working at the Legal Defense Fund is, I've read, sadly, hundreds of books in this field. It's the best. It's really honest and self-critical in a way that you just don't see people write. And he wrote a memoir, a broader memoir of his life in the making of a civil rights lawyer, which is also just an incredible book. And he also wrote a great novel. And
I think that's the right place to stop.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm very glad.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.